Cerys Coralgrave. Cerys Coralgrave sat at her makeshift desk, surrounded by the familiar hum of the sea spire. The broadcast room, a small chamber carved from coral and reclaimed shipwood, was her sanctuary in the drowned city. Through the thick glass porthole, she could see the slow, graceful dance of bioluminescent fish, the only stars this sunken world had left. Her assistant, a young man named Finn with earnest eyes, handed her a slate. "The evening report is ready, Miss Coralgrave," he said softly. She nodded, her voice a steady, comforting presence for the few hundred souls who called the abyssal plains home, a beacon of normalcy in the crushing deep. The calm was shattered by a frantic, distorted signal cutting through her broadcast. A voice, choked with panic and static, broke in. "Anyone? Is anyone receiving? The Leviathan! It's awake! It's coming for the sea spire! The eastern supports are all ready." The transmission ended in a scream of tearing metal. Finn stared, his face pale. The great beast of legend, the Leviathan that had slumbered for generations, was stirring. Its awakening meant one thing: their fragile home was no longer safe. "It cannot be," Cerys whispered, her hands trembling as she adjusted the dials, trying to find the signal again. "The stories, they're just old tales to frighten children." She forced a calm she did not feel into her next broadcast, assuring the citizens it was a simple malfunction, a rogue current disrupting communications. She refused to believe their peaceful existence, hard-won after the Great Flooding, could be so threatened by a myth. To acknowledge it was to invite a panic from which they might never recover. An hour later, an old man named Abner, the keeper of the archives, shuffled into her chamber. His face was grave. "The tales are true, Cerys," he said, placing an ancient, watertight tome on her desk. "The Leviathan is very real. This journal belonged to the first Coralgrave. It speaks of a frequency, a song of calming that can soothe the beast." He pointed to a series of intricate musical notations. "Your broadcast array, it is the only device powerful enough to project it across the entire abyss." Cerys looked from the ancient book to her microphone, the tool she had used only for news and comfort. Now it was to be a weapon. The choice was stark: stay and deliver false comfort until the end, or risk everything on a forgotten song. She took a deep breath, her voice firm for the first time since the warning. "Finn, recalibrate the array for long-range, full amplification. Abner, help it translate these notes. We are going to sing the Leviathan back to sleep." The first attempt was a failure. The beast only seemed enraged by the discordant sound. They faced sabotage from a fearful faction led by a man called Rigel, who believed provoking the beast would bring swift ruin instead of slow. They fought failing power conduits and crumbling infrastructure, yet they also found allies in Alara, a brave engineer who stabilized the array, and others who believed in Cerys' plan, forming a fragile chain of hope against the despair. During a desperate retuning, Cerys discovered a footnote in the journal. The song was not a lullaby for a monster, but a key. The Leviathan was not a beast of mindless destruction, but a guardian. Its awakening was a response to a greater threat, a tectonic instability deep beneath a city that would shatter their foundation within hours. The song didn't soothe the guardian. It communicated with it, aligning its power to stabilize the very earth below them. A massive tremor rocked the sea spire. The main power crystal fractured and the broadcast array went dark. In the crushing silence, Rigel's voice rose in triumph. "You see, your folly has doomed us all." Cerys slumped against the dead console, the journal slipping from her hands. The hope he had built seemed to evaporate in the cold water. They were trapped in the dark, with an enraged guardian above and the world crumbling below. Then she saw its small, backup transducer used for internal comms. It had just enough power for one short-range burst. It wasn't about reaching the city anymore. It was about reaching the Leviathan itself. "Ilaura, rig everything to this. Thin, the notation for trust. Now!" Cerys poured every ounce of conviction into the microphone, broadcasting a pure, simple note of plea and understanding directly into the water. For a terrifying moment, nothing happened. Then, a deep, resonant hum answered, not of rage, but of recognition. The shaking ceased. Weeks later, Cerys sat at her desk, a new, stronger crystal powering the array. The Leviathan now swam serene patrols around the stabilized city, a accepted protector. Her broadcasts were different now. They spoke of courage, unity, and the mysteries of the deep. Finn and Ilaura worked beside it, and even Rigel listened with quiet respect. The ordinary world was transformed, not just saved, but awakened to a deeper truth and a stronger community, forever changed by the song from the drowned city.